business analyst do day to day in 2023? The basic responsibilities from role to role tend to be the same, but they can vary widely depending on what industry you're in, what company you're in, or even different roles within the company can look different. So let's look at some of the key responsibilities of a business analyst, the key skills that you'll need to be a business analyst, and the common educational and work experience background that a business analyst may have. I'm Jen, and I help demystify analytics skills and careers. I've worked within the analytics space for over 15 years, with many of those years as a business analyst or doing business analyst type activities. If you want help breaking into a business analyst career, check out the description below for details about one-on-one coaching with me. Now, let's get into what a business analyst does. First off, business analyst responsibilities. The main focus of a business analyst is to analyze, obviously, the organization, processes, procedures, and data through a business-specific lens. They're specifically working on different problems or challenges the business is facing and looking at total integration of a solution. They may not execute the full solution in the business, but they're coming up with not just what does the analysis say, but how do we connect this into solving the problems we have. A pretty typical day for a business analyst involves meeting with stakeholders that might be in their department or might be in other departments, gathering relevant data and information from people and from systems, performing analysis, and then going back to stakeholders to share their findings and look at how they might want to iterate again to streamline the processes they're working on, to come up with a more optimal solution, and finally hand it over for implementation within the organization. Let's get into business analyst skills because this also overlaps a lot with the responsibilities. Business analysts are often working with people that they don't actually have control over, people that aren't reporting directly to them, and they need to have a lot of influence over these people. Communication skills are really important, and especially influencing skills, persuasive skills, influencing without authority. These are really important skills for a business analyst to bring to the table. Business analysts distill, collect, and extract information. Regardless of the specific role, every business analyst is going to have to gather data of some sort to do their job. Whether this is actual numerical data or data around the process, details about processes they're working on, or something else or a hybrid, every business analyst role is going to involve this need for data. So not only do they need to collect the data, they then need to understand it, make sure they're interpreting it correctly, and then use it for whatever type of analysis they might be doing. Because business analysts are collecting a lot of information and data, information management is a big piece of what they're doing. Sometimes that's managing different requirements from stakeholders that they're working with and documenting those. Sometimes it's documenting process flows. Sometimes it's managing different data sets, whether those are extracted from a system or come from something like a series of interviews held with people in the organization. Regardless, a good structured information management is very important for a business analyst. Problem-solving skills are at the heart of any analyst job. Truly, how can you analyze things if you don't have some amount of problem-solving knowledge? For a business analyst, this looks like understanding how to write a good problem statement. That is, what is the business problem they're actually trying to solve, or what's the business question that they're trying to answer in the work that they're going to do? If you can't define a good problem, then it's really hard to come up with a good solution, because you can still solve a problem that you don't understand, but your outcome or your recommendation may not really hold any weight or meaning or really help the business in any way. Maybe you'll stumble into the right answer on accident, but it's really hard to implement a good solution without really understanding the problem. Visualization is another common key skill for business analysts. What does this mean? It can mean data visualization, similar to what a data analyst would do, using tools like Power BI or Tableau or Click or one of the hundreds of other options that are out there. But this visualization could also look like process visualization, doing process mapping. It could look like wireframes if a business analyst is working with IT and software development processes, etc. So visualization is a key part of that activity of a business analyst, and it's a really helpful way to communicate back to those in the organization that they're working with. Lastly, I'm going to throw niche skills in here, and this is a really broad category of skills for a business analyst. For a business analyst that's looking to be more technical, this could be things like a programming language. Maybe they know how to write SQL queries or program in Python. Maybe it's specific knowledge of things like CRMs, customer relationship management tools like Salesforce. Having this specialty knowledge, while it can narrow down the types of roles that a business analyst is qualified for, tend to make the analysts that have those skills more qualified than others. So you're niching down, but you're providing more expertise in the area that you do have those skills. And that's really valuable. It tends to work out better for people searching for jobs when they do have something more unique to bring to the table and aren't just generic broad skill set. That's not to say you can't find roles that look more at that broad skill set. There are certainly thousands upon thousands of roles out there where people are only bringing a more generic skill set to the table. But if you're transitioning into a business analyst role, perhaps from a different background, this specialty knowledge is something that you can leverage to make you more uniquely suited for specific roles. And that gets into the education and background of a business analyst. There are business analyst or business analytics degrees out there now, master's programs, bachelor's programs that focus in this area. But these are all relatively new. Most of them have come about within the past 10 or so years. So while there are a lot more people out in the market now that have an educational background as a business analyst, it's somewhat atypical for people to have a specific degree in the field. Rather, if you're looking at a common educational background, you might have people that have backgrounds in mathematics, statistics, they might have backgrounds from more of a general business perspective, and they're looking at applying these skills to the analytics problems of the organization. A lot of times people transition into this role from other roles. So you may come from a background where you're problem solving in a specific area and you move into a business analyst role. Sometimes data analysts transition into business analyst roles and vice versa. There's a lot of flexibility here because each role is a little bit unique. So it's not that you have to have a certain specific amount of a programming language, for instance, like maybe you need for a data analyst job, you need more of those technical skills as a data analyst, but there's a lot of flexibility depending on the role. I hope this has helped you understand what a business analyst does and what their responsibilities are, what kind of backgrounds they have. Again, if you want one-on-one help, mentorship with getting into a business analyst role, or you're not quite sure if business analyst is specifically the right career for you, but you have an interest in analytics, check out the description for details on one-on-one mentorship with me. Thank you so much for watching.